let the battle begin. So first up, we got uh, F3 Light Mayhem by Lightning JC. He's got some little red ships using the new buckler shields. Very interesting colors. And then we got Soul of Soul by Infamous Yenyu. It's going with a single ship composition, lots of tempests. Doesn't look like he's using any of the new shields. Very interesting shape. Very beautiful looking ship. So let's see how this goes. Well, it's about how I expected it.
Yeah, lightning ships have a lot of shields, and the shields are quite heavy. And I'm not entirely sure that he put on thrusters needed to move them.
Yeah. Yenyu's ship is surprisingly agile. It is pretty much a bunch of strands, though, now that I look at it.
Yeah, he uses a lot of ultralight armor.
Ah, I gotta start the music.
If I recall correctly, he mentioned to me that he thinks it was very overpowered a while ago, so I nerfed it quite a lot. And he still thinks it's overpowered, so...
Alright. Started the music. Tell me if the music's too loud in chat. It sounds like it's probably a little too loud. Alright. Take it away, Fly.
Alright, so we got a Kamikaze Dialect. He's bringing a really old meta red ship here. He's basically using Tempests as armor. That's not quite as effective now, but I mean, you know, people submit what they have.
It's got some little triangle dudes. Or those aren't triangles, those are diamond shaped dudes. It looks like he
Yeah,
also has some drones.
the drones are mostly for distraction. Same with those little attachment ships, but those little attachment ships are super agile. They're going to be really hard to catch.
Man, that is just a storm of bullets.
I
Too
think
bad
even the tankiest ships I tested this thing against, it could just melt right through them if they don't have the firepower to take it out immediately. That being said, though, it is incredibly fragile. Even the Terran regeneration suppression missiles can just like kill it slowly over time.
And those drones are really messing with the camera. I'm just gonna zoom in. No one's saying anything on how loud the music is. Are we good? It's still messed up. So it looks like Kamikaze's gonna take this by points if he doesn't kill all the remaining ships.
The bullet rain coming in. Those drones get really nasty if you don't have any point defense taking them down.
Oh yeah.
Meanwhile, the capital ship, also very nasty.
It's just completely white with DPS.
It's like someone woke up one day and was like, how much DPS can I fit into a single ship? And this is what they came up with.
It is taking damage, but doesn't
Oh
really
yeah,
matter
yeah.
if it kills its enemy in like half a second.
Like as long as the enemy is agile enough to evade the tempests and has a long enough range gun to outrange it, then it's gonna die slowly over time, and there's not much you can do about it.
Alright, I'm gonna speed this up. Alright, so Kamikaze takes that one. So next up we have Kamikaze again with mini flak tanks. Just a bunch of the same ship, small agile flak drones. I'm interested to see how those will do. I presume they'll do quite well.
Lightning JC's fleet is extremely well shielded, so I think he stands a quite good chance in this fight. I say that until one of the ships explodes. And then
Yeah.
I guess I'll take that back.
Very easy victory for Kamikaze in the first round. Looks like he'll be similarly taking the second round. For the last ship in this pool,
We have Kamikaze again. There's quite a lot of this guy, it has to be said. This one appears to be a wiener-shaped ship, and it is bringing a lot of plasma cannons, a lot of not plasma cannons as well, and it's making use of a big shield, which we haven't seen before.
I like the little plus shapes he made with the missiles. Interesting aesthetic, and of course I paused it at a perfect time where all the drones are popping out on the sides. So, we'll see how this does. Oh, wait a second. I didn't realize he had more than one ship.
He's got 2 mini flak drones with him.
Ah, okay. Well, they're both dead already, so
Yeah, I think they're just there to fill points.
fair enough. I don't think Lightning's gonna have any real chance of damaging Kamikaze's battlecruiser.
He's definitely doing damage, but I don't think he's able to out-brawl it.
Yeah. He's got some weird armor layout. If you saw the side of Kamikaze's ship and the pattern it was taking damage. Might be able to see it again. Or not. Alright, up against 2 red fleets, Kamikaze versus Infamous Yenyu. DPS versus Aesthetic. I wonder where Kamikaze's ship is.
Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
I was about to say, Yenyu's ship seems to be much better able to evade fire than Kamikaze's. But I mean, if you get distracted and then you're...
Yeah, I was wondering why he wasn't going after Kamikaze more, because Kamikaze doesn't have any distractions. He must just be fast enough.
No, Kamikaze has quite a bit of distractions. That's what the ship keeps getting distracted on.
Or, sorry, Infamous doesn't have any distractions. That's why I was wondering why Kamikaze's capital ship wasn't on it more.
Oh yeah, Kamikaze's ship is very fast, a straight line. But that's a straight line.
Yeah. chewed up.
Yeah, I think these flak ships are pretty much a hard counter to red at the moment. Just because of the smallness of red blocks.
He did take a lot more with him than JC's did, though.
Yeah, it's half the fleet gone. Which, I mean, in any Swarm matchup is quite decent. They definitely need some more tuning, the Swarms.
Dose is here. Yeah, for anyone wondering, this Trey and Dose guy are some of my real life friends. Being a
What?
bunch
You
of
have real life
trolls.
friends?
I do have real life friends, wow. See, you don't count, Fly. You're not real.
You're not wrong.
Getting distracted.
Alright, so yeah, Yenyu against Dialect. I think I would have given Yenyu a really good shot at this at the start, because I would assume his ship would just win a slugfest with the other one, but it appears to be misbehaving quite a lot.
Yeah, it's really going after the drone ships. He must have a lot of stuff set onto PD by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think all of his guns are set to PD except for one of them.
Shame.
There's definitely value to be had in a lot of PD, but not when it's your Tempest.
I also kind of feel like his ship would function better backwards.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Just like the shape of the ship and its ability
The
to
shape of
conserve
the ship,
power.
yes. Because right
Also,
now
I've
I feel
noticed
like the
something-
core is too far forward.
I've noticed something in the newest update from beta, where the ship seemed to be shooting, like they're trying to predict that the enemy ship will dodge, but the enemy ship is too slow to dodge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they're like spread firing where they don't need to be, and I think Yenyu's ship is doing that here.
Yes, Dose, I heard the news.
I
Well, we're
also
going
wish
into
there was
the
some form of overkill protection on the point defense guns.
overkill protection.
Yeah, get on that, Arthur. So that like if one gun is enough to take out the projectile, 5 don't shoot it.
Yeah.
Because like we can see here, like 3 Tempests are trying to take out a single drum. Oh,
Looks like Yenyu had what it takes to win the brawl in the end. Went to the 3rd round even. Nice job. That's more of what I was expecting.
yeah, Sam. That first round was pretty dicey.
Yet again, another red ship doing a lot of damage, but I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
Yeah, Flak has a tendency to make red cry. You can probably get around it with the shields, but we're not seeing very many shielded ships.
No. I took my shield off mine as well. Wonder if it'll bite me. Yeah, it's stuck on the wall now. Wow. Still quite a bit faster than those little flagships, I suppose.
Yeah, the more he gets damaged, the less mass he has to move.
Now let's see how much DPS Kamikaze really has.
Enough?
Oh, jeez.
Taking a bite out of that ship.
Both ships distracted though.
He's taking out a flak drone. Clearly hellbent on revenge after the last match.
Oh, here they come. Big oof.
It's like really reminds me of like a high pressure shower head, except the high pressure shower head also murders things.
Yeah, it's a little too high pressure, I think. When it's melting your spaceships, I think it's high enough pressure.
Dude, water cutting is a thing.
Oh yeah?
Water cutting shower head in space.
In space. They want a
With red hot
truce.
water.
Yeah, I don't know about that in Fury X. I don't think that was a truce. I mean, sure, the Tempest battlecruiser might be giving the Daedalus class battlecruiser a shower, but I don't think the intentions are quite right. Ooh,
Oh,
he didn't
the
have enough
squishy-
alpha to finish him off in time.
yeah, that Tempest ship is like the epitome of glass cannon. Like you'll notice how they barely even engaged each other, and still, the pot shots from battlecruiser were enough to take out the Tempest ship.
Do you think well, probably not even. I was thinking maybe that Tempest battlecruiser might have worked better in the old, non-remastered version of the game, but
As far as I'm aware, it was literally yanked out of the version of the game. And just put in
yeah. Did Tempest have more health in vanilla?
Yes, way more.
Way more. So that might have worked better without this being the remastered.
Well, Tempests are also better here, so like better in terms of their ability to damage stuff.
I mean, I don't think they were lacking that ability.
Well, the Tempests on this Tempest ship, they have twice the DPS of the normal vanilla Tempests. So you would have two of these, and they would have half the ability to concentrate damage in vanilla.
The Tempest battlecruiser's lost its supporting ships. I don't think it's going to be able to win now. It's close. Definitely close. Man, that thing it is not maneuverable enough.
Yeah, he's trying to decide if it wants to engage, or even if it can.
Drive by, man. Well, it ended up being enough in the end. Tempest battlecruiser beats the Daedalus class battlecruiser. Now we see another slow, painful death, I'm assuming. Might be closer, though.
I think the ship has the best chance against these flak drones out of all of them, just because of its large armor.
Yeah, I think it's going to win. They are getting pretty close down through the back, but they haven't reached the shield yet.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get through that shield at all. Like, even if it were fully exposed.
But I mean, in the end of the day, it's just Kamikaze beating Kamikaze.
Yeah. I think we'll have to like subtract a point from his total wins from winning against himself or something if he takes this pool. Just to like, you know, really drive home.
I'm telling you, man, you should have added that build in good faith rule.
I mean, honestly,
so
even if
many
I had that
things.
rule, I would have accepted all 5 of his submissions in just because it's so hilarious.
So, Kamikaze is in all 3 of the top spots? grip, man.
Alrighty then. Well, let's just get this pool out of here. Pretend this isn't a problem and go on to the next one.
Alright. So that's the first 5. Now we need Terran battle cruiser.
By Kamikaze Dialect, you'll notice.
Yeah. Another one by Kamikaze. Wow.
Don't say wow, you know precisely how many he submitted.
They're all the same. I think it's this one. Yeah. And that one.
Yeah.
Alright. On to the next pool. If you are ready. Let us fly.
I am ready.
Alright. Let me just reopen some stuff.
Oh yeah, it's very important to keep things open.
Alright, up first we have Kamikaze against Kamikaze again. So we got, looks like a 2-stage kiter here. It's got a generator to detach the armor piece once it's cut through the center. Some antimatter, protein beam kiters as well. Interesting. And a bunch of little distractions.
Yeah,
and
this is Kamikaze's, like, this is his serious submission. The other ones were just kind of like thrown in when he realized he can show off.
Oh.
So this is the one that will probably get to the champion pool out of all of his. Like if we just throw out his other ships.
Got some very interesting looking rocket placement up here in the front.
Yeah, definitely.
Very interesting. But yeah, it looks like your typical Terran kiter thruster ball. And fighting this Terran battle cruiser. Lots of antimatter. And some projectile spam in the wings. Very interesting looking ship. I'm interested to see how it does.
Interesting.
I suspect the kiter will win just because I don't think the Terran battlecruiser can do much of anything to it.
I suspect that the Terran battlecruiser will get distracted to hell by everything that can distract it.
I don't think you have to suspect that, as we can clearly see what is happening.
You know what?
Getting protein beamed.
Kamikaze Dialect, clearly feeling that Kamikaze Dialect has not had enough protein this morning.
You could potentially hit something pretty neat with those antimatter, but that's just luck at that point.
I don't actually think we've seen them all fire at once yet.
I think they're just so close that they don't look like they fire together. Like that was one. A battlecruiser could use with some more turning thrusters. So that was a bunch right there. I think that was 4.
How many does he have? 5? I want to say 5. Yeah, they definitely all fired there.
Yeah, Clem, we're gonna have to figure out what to do with Kamikaze, because wouldn't be very cool if you had more than 2 ships move on to the finals.
I'm thinking we just don't let him have more than 1 ship in the finals.
So the kiter takes it by points.
I definitely expected the kiter to have more firepower. I'm surprised it didn't take it by kill.
Yeah, it wasn't really getting too close, and rockets aren't enough to consistently pop the shields.
Is that a challenge? Sounds like a challenge.
What?
Rockets aren't enough to consistently pop shields.
Nah, I'm saying his ship and his rockets aren't enough to consistently pop shields.
Oh.
I have seen rockets used to great effect. But as you can see, his are just kind of streaming right on by.
Yeah, I guess
Most
you
of
kind
the
of have to hit
time.
your target to do damage to it.
Yeah, rockets are really tricky in that case. It's hard to make a ship that can properly aim rockets. I suggest a ship that doesn't have omnidirectional thrust, for one.
Or a gigantic block of armor at the front.
Well, that might not be a bad thing if it wasn't omnidirectional thrust. But it looks like the battlecruiser is actually leading in points this round. He got a hold of one of the medium-sized kiters. So we'll be going on to the third round. That ship's getting too close. A lot of
Yeah, I
the
think the
thrusters on the outside of those medium-sized kiters are on the outside. And therefore, when it takes damage, it loses a lot of its maneuverability.
definitely, I think if the Kiter fleet is able to lose the match, it's definitely like the fault of the AI. Because like the battle cruiser has no right to be able to kill these ships.
Well, I mean, it does have 4 antimatter cannons.
I haven't seen a single hit from them.
Well,
Okay.
there's a hit right
Well,
there.
I guess it's proving me wrong. Thanks, game.
It's commentator's curse. Mons knows it oh so well.
I think it's Mons' roommate, in fact.
Well, it looks like the battlecruiser is going to take the whole match. Surprising as that is.
Yes, there is something to be said for shields and their ability to not let the enemy farm points on you.
So up next we have the Terran battlecruiser against Lap Submission. Wow.
I did quite a bit of testing with Laps's ship. It was pretty fascinating to me for 2 reasons. First of all, it looks completely bizarre. Second of all, because it does an extremely good job of highlighting a big batch of bugs with the drones right now. And I'd really like Arthur to fix, it has to be said. So he just does drones, you know? And that's about it.
I'm guessing he pulls up the drones and uses them as reusable
Teleporters.
armor.
He uses them as teleporters.
Oh, he uses them as teleporters as well. Great. It kind of looks like this is the helmet, and these are like arms, and this guy's like raising his arms up at his enemies or something. I don't think I can unsee that now. Anyway.
For me, this ship definitely reminds me of like, okay, so in Supreme Commander 2, there is this feature called Half Bake, where you can create an experimental, like when it's half finished, right? And it just comes out, but it glitches up every once in a while and stops working. And like you can see some scaffold framework coming out of the sides of the ship, and that with the name, it makes me feel like Laps was kind of inspired by that idea. Though of course there's also the possibility that this is a ship that was unfinished and he just rushed it in.
It still looks cool, nonetheless. Very unique shape. Hold on.
The drones actually have no clip, but you can see them catching up in there and getting stuck. And they don't actually no clip through the ship. Sometimes they do. They'll randomly decide to start no clipping, and you can see a bunch of them did it there when the ship died. It's super weird. I don't know what's going on with the drones at all.
Oh, lost an arm early off. That was a large batch of drones he was holding, though.
In vanilla, they don't generally go through the armor though. Like you can see if you look closely, sometimes drones just their no clip activates and they just fly through the ship. Some of them get stuck inside the ship, like inside its armor, because the no clip activated long enough for them to get into it, but not to get out of it.
Yeah, I see that. Very interesting. Like you can see them coming out of the front when some of them just aren't. You can see those antimatters to great effect against Lap's ship.
Yeah, I think as long as you have something that can pierce through the armor, then you're pretty good.
Going for the execute might be a bad idea though. Nah,
Yeah,
he'll
there's a lot of
finish it
drones.
off. He's got it. Now, Kamikaze versus Beck. You wanna commentate this one?
I will. Beck built a aesthetic fleet for us today, pretty much with no warning. So like he just rushed this fleet out. He's
Yeah, I
using
think
a
this
bunch of-
is something that he made before, and he just rehashed it with the remastered mod.
That makes sense. You'll notice that he's used a bunch of the scaffold armor to go with the color scheme of his weapons to make like those things that he has. Yeah.
Very unique. I like it. Let's see how they do. They
As a
are.
rule of thumb, though, putting really fragile armor inside your actual armor doesn't work out particularly well for durability. So.
Oh. That was rip. Although he's kind of in his blind spot right behind the antimatters. I don't think it's gonna matter though. Didn't have enough damage to do anything really.
I'd like to see the burst lasers on that Acula able to pop a shield. The shields on this ship seem to be really close to other important components, and they might be able to do a chain reaction with it.
Yeah, hard to say. It looks like the most damage the battlecruiser is going to take is one of its wings is taken off, but that's already regened at this point, and I doubt any more damage will be done. Kind of like the little shape that happens when the ship is at its last form. It's like it has different transformations as it takes damage. And its final form is a spinner, apparently.
No hidden spinners. You're banned, Beck. You can see the suppression missiles off that battlecruiser doing a very good job of preventing Beck's ship from actually regenerating.
Yeah, he doesn't have very many, but it's definitely enough in this situation.
Yeah. The ship just kind of like halfway explodes randomly.
So Kamikaze takes the first round, unsurprisingly.
Beck's first laser ship's getting distracted with something.
This looks about similar to the first round. They're actually doing better than the first round at this point.
That drone kiter would be quite good if it had a reverse thrust.
Did it die? I didn't even notice. Nah, it's still kicking. It's in the thumbnail at least.
I think it's in a perpetual state between life and death.
Yeah. As most aesthetic ships are. There it is again. Back for more.
To the breach.
That was a nice finishing shot. Kamikaze takes the match. And the last fleet in this pool, we got Rushed by Iceborne.
Iceborne's bringing a bunch of red skirmishers here with some guns, and they shoot stuff.
Yeah.
And they look quite good.
I do like them. Simple, easy design.
Very
I think
agile.
they could be somewhat effective too. It's going to be hard for Kamikaze to land enough shots to pop them so easily unless they get hit by the antimatter.
I think Iceborne's fleet here definitely epitomizes the idea of simplicity is best. Because the ships are very simple.
Cut through the majority of the shields in the back. If they hit the... There it goes. The core of Kamikaze's battlecruiser ship is rather close to the back.
Yeah, he's relying entirely on that big shield to protect it. Once that goes down, there's not much.
I assume something fairly similar will happen in this round.
He's also got a lot of generators back there now that I get a close look.
Yes.
That's pretty dangerous.
Although I think the battlecruiser is doing a lot better in this round than the last. Only 4 ships remaining, I think the battlecruiser is going to take this round. So we'll be going on to round 3. Yeah, Iceborne's got to really get in that damage while he still has the numbers advantage. And a lot of his ships being distracted in the beginning of the rounds.
Definitely, it seems to depend a lot on whether or not they get distracted, because they need to all rush it at once while they have enough armor between all the ships, like armor sharing, you know?
Yeah, it looks like Kamikaze's going to take this one as well. Surprisingly solid ship from Kamikaze. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah,
Turns
when
out
comparing it to vanilla, it definitely looks extremely weak, like in terms of its ability to take damage, just because of the smallness of its blocks. So when you're used to vanilla, you can very easily fail to understand how tanky ship really is.
So now we've got Kamikaze's Kiter fleet up against Lap's very interesting thing.
Yeah, the laps thing, whatever that is.
Oh, it does say half bake in the name. I see what you mean.
Yeah. A lot of the Supreme Commander 2 experimentals also had Mark II in their name.
Yeah, you might be right. Does it resemble something from Subcom?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I've played the game a a little bit. I was
Oh yeah.
thinking
Speaking
maybe
of
the
drone
crab
bugs,
thing.
speaking of drone bugs that this ship highlights, it also highlights a drone bug where they don't actually recolor properly. Like, can you zoom right in on the drones?
Yeah, I can.
If you look at their core, you'll notice that it is red and it is oh, some no clip going on. You can see that the core is red and it's recoloring properly, but not any other parts of the drone, and it's really bizarre.
Haven't seen any buggy physics by the drone happening yet. I was excited to see some of that. We might get some though. It's getting pretty bright in that drone hold. Oh, and let a bunch of them out. Although it looks like the Kiters are gonna win on points.
I definitely think this ship would be extremely powerful if its drones didn't get stuck, just because like it has enough drone launchers to get up to critical mass.
Definitely. So the first round goes to Kamikaze on points. Ah, there we go.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.
Where's the arena border? Come on, arena border. It's getting worried for a moment.
Look at all those points. Why weren't you doing this earlier, Laps? I don't even know where he got the points from. Did he like collision damage something to death?
Well, the enemy only has 2 ships left, so I would assume at least one of their ships died to the collision damage.
Jeepers.
Those arms on the outside probably do a good job of grabbing onto things.
This is the stuff I like to see.
Oh my god, look, one of Kamikaze's ships down there is dead and it didn't even, like, its core is cored without any damage.
Just died of a concussion after running into Lap's ship. Just gave up, man.
I don't want to live in a world where physics lets this happen.
I will say, even with the drone recoloring bug, the red and blue does go well together, I feel. Especially the thruster trails, the red and the white.
You can see no clip activating on the bottom left corner. A whole bunch of the drones just come right out.
Well, there is a gap there at least, but there isn't in the front part. Kind of wonder if Lamps knew what he was doing by putting all those drones in there.
Well, he told me that them getting stuck is intentional.
That's the Lamps I like to hear.
Though I got the impression they were mostly intended for brawling, because the drones do have a lot of DPS once they're clustered up like that. It's just that it's not very helpful if your target's really far.
Yeah, with the new drone changes, the drones actually have a sizable amount of health over the old ones. You can actually stack them up and use them as a type of armor that can regen during combat. I did mess around with that for a little while.
I haven't tried that. Did it work out well for you?
I assume if I spent more than like a half an hour on my submission that it would have gone better. But you could also see that effect happen with the B anchor drones. definitely interesting. Those even have shields on them. Hi, Ganga. Yeah, lots of little pew pew rockets. They're not doing a whole lot though. I think your ship used rockets a lot better than Kamikaze's is. Although I'm not sure how much the remastered mod would affect your ship. And now we watch Beck's ships die again.
That's rude.
Yeah, your ship from Waste Tournament, I assume it had a bunch of rockets on it. Rockets, drones, kiter stuff. I really don't know. I wasn't there for the tournament very long. Congrats on the win though, I wasn't there to see it. It has to be said that Kamikaze doesn't have a whole lot of damage in this fleet. Definitely lacking.
The chain reactions, I think, from the shields on the ship just cored it outright through the armor.
The shields on Beck's ship keeping it alive. It's actually doing a very, very good job. Although the protein beam's slowly cutting through, I don't think he'll be able to catch up or do enough damage by the time the match ends.
Really makes me sad when I see drones fail to catch up with an actual capital ship.
Well, let's see. How fast is Kamikaze moving? It's about 400 XL, I'd say. Do you know what the XL of the drones is?
It's like 600.
Well, I guess they're probably pretty high, but they probably can't stay moving forward so well.
They have equal thrust in every direction, so
Oh, really? Interesting.
not sure what's going on. I made sure that all the drones have omnidirectional thrust, even though they may not look like it.
This round going a lot worse for Beck than the last one, being as his other two ships are being distracted while the most important ship's being ganged up on. Although Kamikaze didn't capitalize on that. I don't think he'll have to though.
The battle of attrition is definitely in Kamikaze's favor in this situation.
Kamikaze takes the round. See if Icemore's rushers can deal with Kamikaze's kiters. Those rockets are going to do a lot of damage to those rushers though. They don't have any shields.
If they hit, these rushers are pretty fast.
They're being distracted too much though. I wonder if they would have done better if you would have had less ships with the small buckler shields.
I definitely agree. This looks like a perfect ship to put one of those shields on.
Yeah.
I can see them taking a lot of unnecessary chip damage from random flak shots and missiles that the shield definitely would have made them pretty much immune to.
He is also interestingly using the blasters, which are pretty unpopular in the vanilla tournaments, I do know.
I have not changed any of the red weapons at all, aside from the Tempest.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested to see the blasters here.
Yeah, usually as far as red goes, their phasers and their Tempest are the go-to weapons.
Laps
Well,
versus Beck. I think Laps is going to get the opportunity for that drone brawl that he's been probably itching for.
yeah, I was interested to see if Beck's drone ship would be able to get enough drones to do something, but it has massive disrespect problems. I'm not actually sure what kind of point defense does Laps have. Are the drones on point defense, maybe? He does have a few lasers, but...
I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a drone ship again. That poor thing doesn't know when to stop.
Well, I mean, if there's no situation in which you would want to stop, then you don't need to know when to stop.
Well, I mean, he's dead now, so...
He was glorious. And he never stopped being glorious. I'm just saying. If you have to stop being glorious, why be alive? You may as well just die. Or at least, that's probably what Beck's ship is thinking.
Yeah. So you see the little A-frame shape of the mostly damaged Beck ship? Once again,
The Beck ship.
the Beck ship. First round goes to Laps. I doubt that'll be different in the second. Beck ship getting a generous hug. The other ships got jealous and wanted some more as well.
Laps rejecting though. Very rude.
Well, they got a little revenge. They broke Lap's hand.
Guess you can say you gotta hand it to them. They can do some damage.
Not enough. And the Beck ship still kicking it.
The Beck ship doing Beck things.
Beck is actually a pretty long time REassembly player. He was back before I started. I know for sure.
He was Beck before you started?
No comment. Yeah, I think I saw him in some of the first tournaments even. I recognize the Arachnian name and the ship shape.
Hey dude, if you go back to one of the original tournaments, you can see me in a console window having my ship killed by spinners. My very first tournament was the Rise of the Spinners tournament. And then Arthur stopped doing tournaments after that because spinners ruined them. And apparently he didn't want to put a rule that said no spinners.
Lap ship hasn't taken out very many of Iceborne's ships, surprisingly. Laps is lacking enough alpha to kill them quickly.
Well, he's definitely not lacking in armor.
Yeah. Laps likes himself some armor.
You can see even with the absurd armor nerfs that have happened in the mod, armored ships are still extremely strong. I know at least a few people were worried that armor meta would become a, or not, sorry, not armor meta, cutter meta would become a thing. Or at least skirmisher meta. Again, I'm noticing the no-clip drones stuck inside the hull of the ship.
Yeah, I'm sad we're not seeing some broken physics another time.
Just flinging the ship across the arena and take out 3 of Iceborne ship in the process.
Just happened too fast.
Oh man, I think if Laps had put some tractor beams on the outside of his ship, he would be able to like really hug stuff.
That might be dangerous levels of hugging. He's already doing quite a bit at this point. Yeah, there's no doubt in that, Conga. It's pretty interesting to see a lot of the ships that look kind of like noob ships in vanilla. Since they use only small blocks, they're actually surprisingly healthy tanks now. That's the major difference between remastered and vanilla. It's the armor changes. It's a lot harder to tell how much HP a ship has now.
And the drone bugs. Those are a big difference.
And the drone bugs. Yeah, the Terran missiles were given enough speed so they could rival that of enemy Kaido ships. To give enemy Kaido ships a reason to spend something in point defense or some sort of counter, at least, to Kaido's just ruining everyone's day.
Yeah, even with the super high speed, they're actually not very good. They're slated for a buff after this tournament. Another buff.
Another buff. Yeah, they're really fast. If only they could lead their target better.
Yeah, I thought giving them super fast speed and really good maneuverability would cause them to be able to like track the target properly, but they don't. So I don't know. I just have to do a whole bunch of experimenting with them. Eventually, they'll do what I want.
Yeah, we don't really want missile spam to be feasible, or not feasible, the best choice for just ripping through ships.
Yeah, the goal for this is like, the more effective a strategy is, the more effort it should take from the builder to build it. So when it comes to missile spam, basically all you have to do is slap a bunch of thrusters on a ship, a bunch of shields, and a bunch of missiles. And no matter what you do with the ship, like no matter what style you build it in, or no matter what building techniques you use, it will still be just as effective because it relies on the shields and on the missiles. So missiles shouldn't be a particularly strong primary weapon choice, in my opinion.
Yeah, mostly a secondary to negate regen and do lots of chip damage.
Yeah, they're definitely good at chip damage.
Yeah, the drones are really nice. I hadn't messed with them until like literally today. I definitely prefer the new drones over vanilla drones, that is for sure. This is really close in points, I hadn't realized.
Oh yeah. I think if Iceborne can punch through the shield, then he just wins.
I think his best chance was right then. He did
He's
break
got
one of
two
the
of the shields.
shields.
Oh.
Wow. Beck takes it in the last few seconds. Yeah, for a little while, I was testing out the drones in single player. I thought you forgot to add like a lifetime to the drones. Because I was
Oh.
getting like 300 of them. I'm like, when is it gonna stop?
They have a lifetime, but it's much longer than it was in vanilla. Like I think twice as long.
Yeah.
The idea is that if you leave the drones alone, then they will build up and they will kill you. So you need to put point defense on your ship, or at least that's the goal. Not sure if people are gonna actually do that. Can't help but notice that we've seen a significant lack of point defense thus far.
Yeah, Red isn't exactly known for their point defense. They have some
Yeah.
pretty cheap lasers, but they lack range.
Yeah, I haven't done a point defense pass on Red yet. Basically, right now we're just making sure they're not like totally broken and overpowered. I think they're not. Considering that Terran keeps winning against them.
Yeah, Terran can definitely still do a lot of different things. They have a lot more options, but that's what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, once more factions get added, you'll get a lot more options for like specialized stuff that Terran can't do. Like Red already, they can do skirmishers that are really, really strong that Terrans don't have access to at all.
And like ridiculous DPS.
Oh yeah. Just the ability to casually cut a ship in half in like 5 seconds. That's definitely nothing to pay attention to.
Yeah, I don't think quite anything rivals that. Crystalline, their cannons definitely have a lot of DPS, but not on that level. And the farmer heavy turrets would also be pretty high up there, but not for as cheap as Red can get that.
It's not necessarily about cheapness, but about the faction's ability to get in there, put out the DPS, and leave before the glass cannon gets killed. Because like farmers are pretty slow, crystalline are pretty slow. So if you build a glass cannon the same way you build a red glass cannon, it's just gonna get torn apart because it's too slow.
Well, looks like Iceborne will take the match. I wasn't surprised, or I was pretty surprised by Beck in this matchup. Another spinner in its final form. Beck's got all sorts of spinners in his fleet. So that leaves Kamikaze in both of the top spots.
Again.
Again.
Ah, Kamikaze, what are we gonna do with you?
So I definitely think Labs should advance.
Yeah, Laps goes.
But we'll worry about that.
Laps goes.
We'll worry about that soon after we're done with the third pool.
Well, Kamikaze, if your goal was to get us to put in a roll for submission limit, you've succeeded.
Definitely so. Sorry for all the flashing. I'm changing windows. Alright. We got this guy. I'm liking all the reds I'm seeing, that's for sure.
I did not know there were this many people in the entire community that were willing to build with Red's pellet, their Penrose blocks.
We did promise some pretty big things.
To be true. Definitely true.
Jeez. Well, I can tell which one's Imperi X's.
Is it because his name is on it?
Nope. That is actually not how I could tell that it was his. Oddly enough. So this is third pool. I believe we're ready to start.
Yeah, do it.
So up first we have my ship up against Insane Asylum. Insane Asylum's got a bunch of little skirmishers. A little more stacking than we've been seeing.
Are those actually skirmishers? They look like rushers.
Rushers?
Not sure no, I'm not sure what's going on here. We'll find out shortly.
They don't have a whole lot of reverse thrust. I guess they are probably thrust or rushers. And looks like it's monotone. Yeah. Right, no. There's tempests and there's phaser ships. And I made a thing, and you'll see what it does shortly.
Yeah, it's a thing. You know, I really hope the game just like refuses to do what you want it to do.
So far, it is doing exactly that.
Maybe it happens when it takes damage.
Insane Asylum is definitely off to a bigger lead here in the beginning.
Alright, there's a dog scratching at a door to come in. Alright, I'm back. Has Insane one yet?
I'm taking the lead on points. It's pretty close.
Oh no, don't die. Oh no. I'm rooting against you, by the way. Not sure if you can tell.
Yeah, I can tell. Oh, jeez.
Dude, does your ship even have 4,000 points in it? Holy crap. You can see Duke here making use of the hardened armor that pretty much nobody else has been for Reds. So his ship is, compared to the other Reds, able to take a lot of damage.
Looks like it's gonna go down here, though.
Tempests right to the face. Really brutal.
Insane Asylum takes the first round.
Haven't seen Duke's ship do what Duke's ship should be doing yet.
It did a little bit, but it didn't work so great.
Oh, by the way, I spelled your name wrong. I hope you don't mind that.
Oh. I do see that now.
I was wondering if you would catch it.
I don't think I would have if you wouldn't. Oh, jeez. There it goes.
You know, if you skip out of the arena, we just declare Insane Asylum the winner, right?
Very, very interesting.
Well, it's because he has more points than you.
Yes.
Apparently your AI just turns off when you get out the arena.
Yeah. Well, that was a good match.
Good job, dude.
Up next is my ship versus Fly's ship.
Fly has 2 ships.
You want me to zoom in on yours, or are you gonna?
Do what you do, dude.
All
Okay, so I
right.
got some torpedo ships and also some not torpedo ships that run at you really fast and they're really tanky.
Looks like. I suspect my ship won't really like those torpedoes.
I suspect those torpedoes will never even hit your ship. Not even once.
uh,
What is happening right now? I need an adult.
just my ship harassing your ship at the speed of light, as all things should be.
I feel like your ship is not taking my fleet name to heart.
Yeah, I did tell you your name wasn't gonna fulfill its duty against my fleet.
Rude.
We're getting up to critical mass again. You can tell when the frame starts skipping. I'm actually pretty surprised how much DPS my ship can do once it has all those drones inside of it.
I'm pretty surprised at how bad the
oh geez, there goes another skip.
people who I told not to come and make noise around me are making noise around me.
Yeah, I had fun. I found an exploit in like the first 5 minutes, and I decided to make it my entire ship. Which is, you know, that's normal for me, so.
Yeah, I'd be more surprised if you didn't, as opposed to do.
I actually made the armor specifically to hold on to the drones better. Works pretty good. Also is pretty well at spaced armor in terms of red, at least. I originally made it so it teleports away so it has enough time to regenerate, unlike a lot of 8K brawlers. Because once they start fighting, they never have a chance to regenerate.
Yeah, I think things would definitely be going very different if this drone no clip were to work.
Well, I wouldn't have the ship, obviously. Oh, there it goes. Jeez.
Alrighty then.
Oh, good match, Fly. Let's see if, oh my goodness.
I'm eager
Alright.
to see your ship grind itself to death.
Yeah, this is or not Kamikaze, this is Imperiex for you. More block spam.
More weird stuff.
Oh man, what is wrong with you? I'm not even gonna say anything. Just let it happen.
I don't think he has an answer to that question.
Wish my drones were actually coming outside of my ship.
That's illegal.
Yeah, I'm leading on points. As long as I can stay away from his massive amount of drones. I think I can win. Transformer block? Excuse me?
What?
I thought the transformer was banned.
It's not a... Oh, good job, dude. You managed to find an exploit. And when I say exploit, I mean rule violation. Because the transformer block is not in the vanilla palette. I thought those were just big armor blocks.
Huh. Well, what do you want to do about that?
What do I want to do about that? Who hasn't fought yet?
Who hasn't fought yet?
No, actually, that'd be too complicated. Just press enter.
But he'd win at this point.
Who cares? Just press enter and then press enter again.
What?
How is that's not possible? I don't have any ships that use it. Can you show me a screenshot in GREX?
Here. Yeah, he's using transformers. And you can only get those from the, It can be in the vanilla palette? What do you mean?
That's really bizarre.
Because I'm pretty sure I've never been able. This isn't unlockable in the vanilla faction.
Yeah, I've never seen it in a plot either.
Because I do know you can spawn it when you type in palette 8 in sandbox, along with like the teleporter.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I'll just skip it.
you sure?
Skip it.
Should we just redo the pool at this point?
That's way more complicated than just pressing enter every time the ship fights.
Man, I don't know. Because it's illegal.
Okay, so skip it.
Okay, whatever.
Just consider that he has 0 points in every fight.
I was just waiting for me to take the lead.
Clem, it does nothing except screw us up, apparently. Press enter.
Yeah. Well, this is what happens when we let people in at the last second. Sorry, I missed that. Alright, Infamous Yenyu. He's got some torpedo kiters, and they got a bunch of burst lasers, a shield, mortar ships. Looks about it. And I'm point filler. See how he does against my thing. Woo! Pinball.
I'm pretty much just waiting for that screenshot at this point. REact.
What are you waiting for?
The screenshot of his transformer showing up in the campaign palette.
Oh yeah, you waiting for him to send you that?
Yeah.
That is weird. I've never seen that.
Yeah, me neither.
You might be able to gank it off of ship, because I know you can copy stations blueprints from the campaign and take them as your own. So perhaps one of the vanilla stations has a transformer on it?
Yeah, dude, he's literally got a transformer in his palette. That's super weird.
That's weird.
Okay, I'll have to tag it with no palette then, because that'll prevent it from showing up.
How did you obtain it in PWX, or was that there to begin with?
It's literally in his palette.
Well, yeah, but like once you get it in your palette, it stays there.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Dumb.
Because I think that's the same way you can get asteroid blocks, because one of the Terran station uses asteroid blocks as a part of it. And by taking the station, you can obtain the asteroid block blueprint. I could be off base. I've never used it before, personally.
I wonder why that never became a problem in any of Monza's tournaments. That's super bizarre.
Went to the constructor from the sandbox.
Dude, that's not the campaign palette.
That's not the campaign palette, yeah. If you go through the sandbox, I bet it gives you all of the blocks available.
Yeah, I would expect it to do that as well.
Oh, jeez. Well, I just forfeit that round. Where am I? Way over here. Looks like Drone Face is gonna... Not Drone Face, Drone Fair is gonna take that round just because I skipped out on the win there. Hopefully I don't do that again.
Hopefully you do that again.
When you sit so close to the wall, it's most likely to happen then. Imperiax always finding weird ways to get banned.
Dude, yeah. Imperiax is either getting himself banned or getting things banned. He's like Splinter's child.
Splinter's child. Splinter's armor cancer child. Ah.
Yes.
I've lost the round.
Shot.
Well, that's what I get. Up next is Insane Asylum versus Fly Paste.
Yeah, dude. I see some real red on Terran action right now. Without any cheese ships. Yes, I'm looking at you, that person, and also you, other person.
Yeah, I had fun. my ship was entertaining at least.
I'm shocked at how long it's taking my swarmers to kill Insane Asylum ships. Can you zoom in on that? They look super tanky. Oh my god, yeah. They've got a lot of hardened armor on them.
Yeah, must be. They're taking that like nothing. Red Sheep Laser Rushers better than Terran, confirmed. Where's Klim? He might be watching. I don't think he submitted a ship though.
You know, I reported this bug to Arthur and he was like, that's not a bug, dude. This bug where the ships are getting stuck on the side of the arena because the range on their torpedoes is too long. It's basically making torpedo ships pretty much useless. I tried to fix it by reducing the range on torpedoes, and it sort of fixed it, but I'm really not sure what to do about it. The suggested solution was to increase the size of the arena boundary.
Bleh. Oh. I did post it in the channel. I guess I didn't post it in announcements though. I could repost it in announcements, I suppose.
Too late. Do it next time.
Yeah. The physics engine? How does the torpedo bug have to do with the physics engine, Conga?
No, the torpedo bug is the ships are engaging at the absolute maximum distance of their torpedoes. So like it's really dumb because previously before Arthur made an AI update, they would have an optimal range on the torpedoes and they would engage like halfway into the max distance. But they're not, now they're not. They're going as far as they physically can.
Yeah, the drone thing is basically the drones not having no clip for whatever reason, and that's why
Yeah,
you
it's
can
because they're
get
multi-block.
that.
The core isn't propagating its faction ID to all the other blocks. That's why they're the wrong color. That's why they don't no clip.
We did start at 9, didn't we?
Yeah. Like 907.
That's odd.
What's odd?
I was just thinking like we would have to maybe replace the music soon, but it's only 22 minutes in.
We've been going for an hour.
Yeah. That's why I'm confused. Oh, also,
Maybe you have it on.
that.
Maybe you have YouTube autoplay enabled.
Perhaps.
Hey, wait. Does Imperiex have factories on his ship?
I don't know. They were duplicating. They're doing some weird shit.
Well, I'm gonna check that on my on my side. No, he doesn't. No idea why they were duplicating.
Yeah, every time I skipped around, they would pop out another ship for whatever reason. Might be a transformer thing. I don't know. Yeah, at this point, Imperiex, if something doesn't look like it should belong, it probably doesn't.
Yeah, I've got like all these formulas and stuff, and I apply them to all the blocks. And so if there's an exception, then it's because the formula forgot to be applied to that block.
Well, at least we know you were putting some thought into your submission, finding that exploit so easily. You falter because you entered so late. So looks like Infamous is going to take this round on points.
Yeah, new small ships here are surprisingly slippery for these tempests. They're having a really tough time catching them.
Oh man, it's Thursday. Felt like it was Friday for a moment. I have to wake up tomorrow.
Yeah, Imperiex, what we do is I always build my fleet before the tournament, like before I even get any submissions to the tournament. And then Duke, I don't let them see any ships. So Duke has a tendency to make his fleet last, which is why I don't let him see any ships. So literally nobody sees, neither of us sees your fleet and is able to make informed fleet decisions based on it.
Yeah, I just host the tournaments and give my opinions on mod balancing.
Yeah. Good old Doobie here is my primary mod balance consultant, as I like to call it.
Play paced off to an early lead. Ships are performing quite a bit better against other Terrans. Surprisingly.
Well, what happens is the Tempests are really good brawling weapons, and all the Reds are using them right now because there's no other option, pretty much, I can assume. So my small ships go in and try and brawl with something with way better weapons in them, so they just die.
I will say my ship wasn't border jumping nearly as much when I was testing it.
Well, it's a good thing it happened in the tournament then.
Yeah. I might have moved on to the finals otherwise. Wouldn't want that happening.
Definitely not. People might think you were hacking. Because everybody knows there's a risk for the tournament host. Whoa, what the hell just killed that ship?
Magic.
Exploded. Dude, magic is like pretty much what just happened.
Yeah, Conga, if you feel like you found something overpowered, by all means, use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you don't tell me about it and I don't fix it, then that's my own fault.
Yeah.
I'm not finding it myself.
And I mean, the more you abuse it, the better we can use that information to make it better.
Yeah, and you're doing a very good job this round.
Yeah, don't use the transformer. Even though I kind of doubt you would have had the chance, even though Imperiex apparently had one in his palette.
He had it in his sandbox palette.
Was it in his campaign as well?
No, it's in it. He gave me a screenshot of the sandbox.
Oh, alright. Yeah, just don't go through the sandbox at all. Unless you know what is and isn't legal. You've had it in your campaign, Congo? Did you have to use tricks to get it in there? Or, I assume you did. Because, like, I can make my campaign, Sentinel campaign saves have Farmer and Sentinel parts. And technically, just appeared one day. Either that's sarcasm or I don't really know.
Yeah, and you took round 2 after the laser ships decided to not focus fire. and just get killed one by one. Looks like they might decide to do it again this round, which would give Yenyu a really good chance of victory.
Yeah, Yenyu's catching a break. My ship decided to skip class during our fight, and well, you're kind of doing the same thing here. It's pretty close still, though. I think it could go either way.
Yeah, definitely. It depends on if my ships can like actually focus fire and kill one of the big ones. I've basically got like 3,000 P of dead weight in my fleet because of those torpedo ships.
You think you would have been better off with just rushers?
Yeah. Like if the torpedo ship P had been in proton sword rushers, then this would be a open and shut case, but they're not, so it isn't.
Still close. If you get that other ship, it's too late now. So it looks like Infamous is gonna move on to the finals if he wins this. This is interesting. There we go. Can't instantly skip. Have to wait for 1 point. So Infamous takes first and second.
What? He had 2 submissions?
Yep.
No, that's Insane Asylum.
Oh. They both start with an I and an N and have a capitalized second name in it, so. Good job to those guys.
All right. I guess everybody was extremely naughty, and none of them followed the suggestion from my fleet. Fortunately.
Yeah. So, are we taking 1 from each pool or 2?
I think it was going to be 2 if there's a tie. But there weren't any ties. We'll take 1 of Kamikaze Dialects. I don't know which one. Which one do you think deserves the most to go to champs?
Is Kamikaze present?
No, he's not. I think we should go with his one that he was intending to, which is the bottom left.
This one?
Yeah. That was his serious fleet, he told me in DM.
Would be a shame. His battlecruiser performed better.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, sucks.
Well, he's not here, so he doesn't get to decide. So we got Infamous, Lapse, and Kamikaze for the finals.
The risk you run when you submit 5 fleets. Punch it.
Klim wants us to use 2. I don't know.
Okay, let's put in the same asylum.
Was there anyone else that was close? Probably not.
I think it was just him.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been close, but you know, I decided to nope out.
You pulled a Duke Slave.
So first round, Lapse, the Crucible Half-Baked, up against Infamous Yenyu's Drone Fair.
Drone Fair, I definitely think, has an advantage in this fight due to their long range. Or, well, the long range of some of the ships.
Yeah, a lot of them are disrespecting. I think those are the mortar ships.
Yeah, those have mortars. A lot of them are disrespecting and getting stuck, apparently.
Laps is leading on points though. I think Laps is gonna take this. He had too many points in those mortars.
Yeah. Rushers are good, like they're really effective, but you have to really moderate how much points you put into them if you're not fully committing into the type. Because they might bleed points that your kiters can't make up for.
Yeah, and left ship seems to have enough point defense and armor to just shrug off the torpedo damage whenever it does hit. Did you see Klim's comment on fixing your torpedo range problem?
I did not. I will go take a look.
It's in the stream chat.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that, Clem. I still find it super bizarre that Arthur doesn't see that as a glitch, rather seeing it as intended behavior. Because really, like, if your ship is engaging at the maximum range that it can, then it's not going to hit its targets with torpedoes.
It's kind of like the vanilla flak mortars, how they're trying to hit with the flak particles instead of the actual mortar shot.
Yeah, there's a lot of really weird AI stuff going on now.
Yeah. Oh, I know what lab ship reminds me of.
What?
Oh, what is that? It's from a movie.
Is it one of those movies with an alien thing and it kills people?
It's like a toy robot. These guys are playing this board game and it sends them into outer space. Ah, what is it called?
Man, gotta hate it when you're playing a board game and the board game sends you into outer space.
Oh, I used to watch that movie so much. No, it's not Space Jam. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up in the background here.
Here we have Yenyu against Kamikaze Dalek. I think Dalek probably has an advantage in this fight because Yenyu's ships have a very good ability to project damage against slow targets with their torpedoes, but not necessarily against fast targets like these ones.
It's Zathura. If you've ever heard of that. Yeah! I found what I was looking for. Sweet. Alright, the next time Laps is on screen, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about.
Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Duke's gonna show something.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
I'm just saying, uh-oh.
So Kamikaze's going to take this one. Is that new? The thumbnails having like a border? I just noticed
No idea.
that their border is colored after their fleet.
Oh, that might be new, yeah.
Like the thumbnail or whatever. Maybe that's a part of extra stars. I don't know. Yeah, I'm liking the extra stars. It was a good idea, Fly. I don't like it as much in campaign though.
I actually prefer it in campaign, like more than tournament mode. For some reason, it looks like the extra stars background that you have in your tournament mode is totally different than the one that I have in.
Hmm.
And I'm not a big fan of the one in mine. But even then, it's still better than a black background that has nothing interesting happening.
Is my version better than the one you have?
Definitely. A lot.
Guess I've just never noticed that, Kanga. Just goes to show how much I'm focusing on the combat aspects. Another one going to town. Going to time. Kamikaze's gonna take it on points.
You know, I might have to start saying competitor X is going to time on competitor in the future.
Have I been saying that a lot?
No, you've only said it this once, but it's funny enough to bear repeating. Unfortunately, none of these ships are the big slug it out Tempest fests, so I don't think I'll get an opportunity to say that.
Interested to see how this round goes. I think Infamous took the rounds when they fought in their own pool, but they were usually pretty close, I felt. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else, I'm not sure. I think they were pretty close.
Cannot remember if these guys shared the pool.
I'm pretty sure they did. Because remember we were talking about how they both started with IN. That's why I thought Infamous won twice.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe I was letting the dog in or something during this fight.
As I recall, Infamous took the match. But this is a lot closer than I was expecting. Could either go, could go to either of them.
Yeah, definitely evenly matched fleets, I think.
I mean, this would never happen in vanilla.
Yeah, the Kite Fest, or all like the Skirmish Fest.
Yeah, it looks like Insane's gonna take the first round on points.
Maybe not. And use catching up. Oh, so close.
Oh my gosh.
Pulled away. And Insane nearly catches up the gap too.
Yeah, he started gaining points there at the end.
So close.
It's really up to RNG. So we're gonna start documenting wins at this point.
I think it would be. I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I've been considering waiting until like the mod is done, or not necessarily until it's done, but like all the main factions are implemented in it. because at that time, that's when I would like to switch to the 16K point max instead of 8K.
Yeah, it's a dilemma. Because people want their wins to mean something.
Well, Mons doesn't track wins.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't, but
These ships will all definitely go in the archive, though. Mons is actually going to host our tournament archive for us on his site.
swag. I didn't know that.
So all these ships are going to be immortalized.
In the beta stages of the mod.
Yeah, people can. Will
Oh, cool.
Make sure to, I'll make sure to mark down how well each fleet performed, and then people will be able to go back and like take a look at the fleet in modern times.
I can't see it. If you look at the thumbnail, the Insane Asylum ship kind of looks like a skull. I don't know, I just thought that was cool. Resume what you were saying.
Oh man, I thought that was important. I was gonna say, yeah, these ships are gonna be immortalized, and I'll make sure to mark down how well they performed, and then people in the future will be able to download them and test them out and see how much the mod has changed since then.
Alright, I'm gonna show you this image now. So, Lap ship reminds me of this guy. Like the top torso of him. It's actually pretty uncanny. Laps is just a little more spiky. Anyway, that was important. We can continue.
Very important.
Did these two fight in a pool? I can't quite remember.
I can't remember either. We're so good at this. I definitely think this tournament is going like significantly better than the last one, because by the end of the last one, I had like 10 balance changes in a list, and I haven't felt the need to tab out and write down any balance changes yet, so that's nice.
Yeah, and a lot of these matches have been really close.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any one fleet that's really stuck out so much as ImperieX's.
Yeah, like definitely I think I'm gonna need to slightly adjust Tempests and buff the rest of the red weapons so that Tempests aren't such a clear winner choice. But like I didn't have to tab out to do that and write it down, you know?
Yeah. And they're not even like that much out of line, I don't think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like red is definitely strong right now, but it's not overpowered, I'd say.
Yeah, and once we start adding more fleets, we'll probably need less and less balance changes. Just because adding more variables will decrease our need for that.
Yeah, REassembly has this really weird habit of balancing itself. Like just make sure the numbers are not insane, and then everything will sort itself out. At least that's the approach Arthur takes.
Yeah, I'd say for vanilla weapons, everyone just uses what works. The only problem is there's a good amount of weapons that just aren't used at all.
Yeah.
And the armor situation.
The armor situation is definitely a situation.
And
really not
yes,
sure why
Tinkerel
Arthur-
is overpowered, but Tinkerel doesn't exist, Kanagra.
like out of all the balance decisions that Arthur has made, I'm the one I'm most shocked by is him not giving a cost to armor.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty interested to see how much laps spent on armor alone.
Yeah,
Because he doesn't have a whole
I'll-
lot of weapons.
dude, I'll go check that right now. Actually,
We're going to the third round.
man, Laps has holy crap, Laps has a lot of armor.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even a lot of armor in terms of vanilla. He didn't even use the 3 scale squares at all. His ship is made pretty much entirely from scale 1 and scale 2.
Yeah, I get the feeling his ship wouldn't pass mobility in Mon's tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
But, well,
Oh, no, it would. It has 107 and the minimum is like 105 or something.
leave it to laps. Yeah, we wanted to make sure armor is a lot more important in remastered, being as Kaidus are very much more powerful with the AI changes. So we wanted to make sure that ships with armor still had a role in the game.
Hey, you know those like scaffold kind of bits sticking out of the sides that I mentioned
Of what ship?
on Laps' ship?
Yeah.
He actually used scaffold armor for those.
It is the half bake. Laps in his themes. I'm just happy he submitted. I thought he would forget again.
I think he also thought he would forget. All right, so everything removed from his ship aside from the armor and the shields, it costs 2,400 B.
Definitely significant.
Right, take off the shields as well. He's got 1,780 P.
Yeah, sounds about right to me. Just looking at his ship. Yeah, we just had to really make sure that armor was a lot more useful, but you couldn't just spam it and it would be infinite value. That was probably the hardest part. That and shields.
What Mons did with his tournament is he added the minimum thrust rule so that effectively put
Gives-
a price on armor
Yeah.
through thrusters. Though personally, I think it was. I think it's much easier to balance armor when you assign a value to it directly instead of having to do it around through a rule. Like you can control it much better.
Wow. Zaylan was doing a lot of damage with those Tempests.
Yeah. Is he the only fleet that's been able to punch through the armor on all sides, like more than just the nose?
Definitely. I get the feeling Kamikaze's Tempest battlecruiser could have done the same though.
No, I think we're just gonna pretend that Kamikaze Disney. Aside from his main submission. Yeah, definitely rule in the future going forward. It's going to be 2 fleets per person, maximum. More than 2 is just absurd. I honestly did not expect anybody to put in more than 2, so I didn't even have a rule for it.
Yeah, Splinter graced us with his ridiculously oversized scaffold blocks last tournament. You just missed that. That's why we have the time dilation rule now.
We're going to remove that though, because it's a time dilation rule and I dislike those. And instead, there's going to be just a block limit rule, because the only thing in the mod that causes time dilation is the scaffold block spam.
So what, you're just gonna have like a limit on how many scaffold blocks you can have?
No, just blocks, period. You'll never ever hit the block limit using normal blocks because they cost. So the only way people will get to it is using scaffold.
What were you thinking?
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to do a bunch of tests to find out what triggers time dilation and what doesn't.
Because I mean, like, 2,000 is what the base game uses.
Per ship?
Yeah.
Does your game have a... Hold on a minute. I'm gonna check how many blocks Splinter have on his ships. Because his ships were able to load in my game and I don't have anything raising the block limit.
Yeah, his ships were massive and they were very laggy, but they actually weren't that good. Most things just cut straight through them. They were just big piles of dead ships, really.
Yeah, they were just super laggy and that's it.
Yeah. So even if you thought that would have been a really strong strategy, the HP of the scaffold blocks is so low that they actually didn't really cause that much of a distraction.
Okay, so Splinter has much more than 2,000 blocks. He has 15,000.
Oh, well, there you go.
Hey, 2,000 blocks per ship, limit it is. I'm gonna check out Laps's ship and see how many blocks he has.
Yeah.
Because if Laps does violate that 2,000 block rule, then it needs to be raised for sure. Laps has...
I'm guessing around 15,000 for laps.
Laps has 2,200.
Oh, okay.
So I think 3,000, maybe 4,000 would be good. Because Laps's ship, you
Maybe
can put a
you
lot more
could
blocks.
maybe you could tie the block limit to how many ships you have. Somehow. If that makes sense.
We could do a fleet-wide block limit.
Fleet by block limit.
So like, let's say we want to have 2,000 per ship on average. Like just, I'm not saying this is a final number, I'm just pulling it out of my ass. So
Yeah.
let's say we want 2,000 per ship on average. Then we just, you know.
Oh, like a fleet limit. Well, that's a little more dicey. But yeah, we can definitely come up with something. I feel like the limit should be different than just having one ship, than a whole fleet of ships.
So let's say we just have a limit and then you can't pass it for your entire fleet. So like, let's say 20,000 blocks for your entire fleet.
Yeah.
Because if Splinter is doing time dilation with 15,000 on a single ship, then 20,000 across a whole fleet, like in multiple ships, that should probably be fine. Because 15,000 in scaffold is like, you know.
Well, honestly, I don't think 20,000 is, or I think 20,000 is too much.
I'm definitely trying to err on the side of
20,000 is
too much than not enough.
like 10 of lap ships.
Okay, you're right.
Like at most, like maybe 5 of lap ships.
Yeah, because I'm looking at Laps's ship and I'm thinking that is a really good bar for a super tanky ship. So how many? So if someone wants to make an entire fleet of super tanky ships like that, how much blocks should we give them? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think it's gonna be like some sort of multiplier, depending on how
Yeah,
many
we're gonna
ships you
need to
have.
put a lot more thought into it than just brainstorming on the stream.
Yeah, if anyone in the stream has any ideas, feel free. We appreciate input from the community.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like it's gonna go into the third round. We went off on a tangent there.
Very long tangent.
Very long tangent.
My high school math teacher would be proud. You know, I've always said that for a fleet to actually be good, it has to have both like performance and aesthetics. Like if you do one, like if you make a super ugly fleet, then I don't like it. If you make a super aesthetic fleet that can't perform, I don't like it either. But Insane Asylum's fleet, it looks really good. It performs really good. If I had to like crown an unofficial victor of the entire tournament, I would absolutely go for Insane Asylum. Has to be said. I
Yeah,
really
they
like
do
the
have a
fleet.
very nice look to them.
Runner up for me would probably be like you using those criteria would probably be Laps. His ship is a very distinct aesthetic that I like a lot. And if the drones weren't screwed up in color, then I think it would look even too.
Conga Lap's ship was 2,200. And like I said, I don't think a set limit is gonna work. I think it's gonna have to be like per ship. Some sort of.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird because there's two things that'll factor into time dilation. There's the total amount of blocks and the total amount of blocks being hit by gun. So if you have one ship with a shit ton of blocks, it's gonna lag the game more than that same amount of blocks spread out into a whole bunch of ships.
Yeah.
And we just want to lag the game the least as possible. We don't want to restrict people's ability to build with scaffold. We just want to restrict them lagging the game. So we're gonna go for the most like lax rule as possible, however, whatever form that may take. And of course, there's the whole thing. We also want people building their ships to be able to understand the rule. So, yeah,
Another
it's
very
definitely not
close
gonna be
round.
easy.
This could go either way. Very close indeed. Oh, Kamikaze took a kill. I think Kamikaze's gonna take the match.
Aw, no.
Kamikaze takes the tourney. I sure
We
hope
can
he
call-
would, submitting 5 ships or 5 fleets.
I mean, arguably, we took one of his less powerful fleets into the champ pool too.
Yeah, it's hard to say how his battle cruiser, the Terran battle cruiser, would have worked in the same situation.
Like, honestly, though, I think in terms of deciding who is the quote-unquote champion of this tournament, I think it would be Kamikaze. Not because he submitted a lot of ships, but because he submitted a lot of ships and all of them were extremely good. Like, repeatedly in his pools, he was top first and second. So definitely congratulations to Kamikaze. Also congratulations to Kamikaze for making us have to put in a fleet limit rule. I think forcing us to add a rule is like the top level victory in the end.
Yeah, it looks like Labs doesn't have enough point defense to deal with. Well, I say that, and then all of my drones become inside of my ship.
Kaboom! You
Oh.
say that, and then your ship is outside the arena.
I'm still winning on points, so it's whatever. I find that interesting that when the drones were inside my ship, they don't actually show up on the thumbnail. Here, I'll see if I can repeat
the really
that.
bizarre thing is that the thumbnail only shows the ship it's looking at, nothing else. It'll show the thruster trails of other ships, but not the actual other ships.
Wow, that was a really early. Yeah, arena soft border when. I mean, if my ship gets far enough away, then it might not even work still, even if there is a soft border. Looks like he has his drones on point defense, though.
Looks like all his guns are just being point defense when they don't have a normal target.
Yeah, I think that is actually a...
I think that's vanilla behavior.
Yeah, now that you say that. Slowly tune into him. I don't know where my ship is. Probably outside of the arena somewhere. Yeah.
Good luck finding it.
Oh! It's way over here somewhere. There it is. Hey, buddy. You broke all the physics. Good job. Anyone want to see certain matchups that they couldn't see just because of the pool setup? Before we call this a day.
Yeah, I've actually had a few things I've been putting off during the tournament, so I gotta go do those immediately. I'll
Alright.
let you guys do your party. I'll see you next stream.
Yeah, man. See ya. Over drones versus winner. What's over drone? Over drone versus this one. So sad, I can't even speed this up. Getting some grinding behavior. Well, I think it's safe to say we would have won this matchup. Anything else? Last calls? Was kind of curious. I know I already saw that. Gone forever. So yeah, thank you all for coming to the tournament. We'll be hosting another one in about half a month. Hope you guys all look forward to that, and we'll have another faction for you guys. So yeah, see you guys around. Thanks for coming. Ciao.